Okay, since this factoring is new, we just need to keep doing a few examples to see the pattern. So in this case, 4, 12, and 5 don't have any common factors. So I'm going to go ahead, make my parentheses. I'm going to drop an x into each first position, put a y in each back position, minus, plus, tells me I have minus, minus. Now I have to figure out what pieces are going in for each of those coefficients so that when I multiply and then add, I get negative 12xy. So I'm going to look at my factors of 4, 1 and 4, 2 and 2, and I'm going to look at my factors of 5, 1 and 5. Since I'm subtracting both pieces, two negatives, that really means I'm adding. So how can I combine these two sets, one from each side, to make 12? So we start 1 times 1 plus 4 times 5. That's not going to be 12. Switch it around. 1 times 5 plus 4 times 1. That's not 12. I'm done with that one. Now I take 2 times 1 plus 2 times 5. That's 12. So that is what I need to use. Now be very careful where you're putting your factors. Remember, the factors of 4 have to go with the x. The factors of 5 have to go with the y. So my little key down here says a 2 has to go here. Well, that's easy. Then I put the other 2 here. 2 has to be multiplied by 1. That means the 5 there. Do a quick check to make sure you did it right. Negative 10xy. Negative 2xy gives me my negative 12x that I need. So my cleaned up answer is 2x minus 5y times 2x minus y. Let's look at the next example. 5, 29, and 6 don't have any common factors. So put an x on each side, put a y in the back of each side. Now I'm looking at plus, minus. That is one sign of each. It doesn't matter which order you put them in. I have to figure out how the factors of 5 are going to combine with the factors of 6 in such a way as to make positive 29. Now, with one sign of each, that is like subtracting. So I have to think about multiplying and then subtracting. So let's start pairing them up. One from each column. So if I take 1 times 1 and 5 times 6 and I subtract, 1 minus 30 is 29. Perfect. Now, I want my 29 to be positive, so that means I want my 30 to be positive. So I want to think about where I put my 30. If I put my 30 in this position, it's going to be negative because of this sign. So I want to actually put my 30 in the position that will make it positive. If you mix up when you check it, you just flip-flop your signs. It's an easy fix. So I need 5 as a factor of x. So I'm going to put my 5 here, which means that my 6 has to go here because that is a factor of y. That means that my 1s have to go in those positions. Take a quick check. 30xy minus 1xy is positive 29xy. And so this is x plus 6y times 5x minus y. And our next example of this kind is 8u squared plus 18uv plus 7v squared. No common factors between 8, 18, and 7. So I'm going to go ahead and factor. I'll put a u in each spot, put a v in each spot, plus, 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 plus. So now I know I have to figure out how to multiply and then add the factors of 8 with the factors of 7 to make positive 18. So I start grouping them. 1 times 1 plus 8 times 7. Too big. Flip-flop them. 1 times 7 plus 8 times 1 is 15. That's not going to work. So that one's out. So now I'm going to take 2 times 1 plus 4 times 7. That's 28. 29, 30. That doesn't work. Flip-flop them. What if I take 2 times 7 plus 4 times 1? There's my 18. So I have my pairs. Now, be careful to put your factors of 8 with the U's and your factors of 7 with the V's. So I need 2 times 7. So a 2 has to go by the U. That means its 7 factor partner needs to go in the back so that I get 14 UV. My other factor of 8 then is 4. It needs to be multiplied by 1 to make 4 UV, which gives me my 18 UV. So my cleaned up answer is 2U plus V times 4U plus 7V for your completed answer. Now, grouping is another way to work problems, and it's pretty slick once you get a handle on it. 15k cubed plus 10k squared minus 24k minus 16. No common factors that I can see. But what I can do is, I'm going to change this to plus and minus, group them by pairs. And then look for common factors in those pairs. So 15k cubed and 10k squared have a common factor of 5k squared. And if I divide that out, that would leave 3k plus 2 inside. Plus negative 24k minus 16. Well, 24 and 16 have a common factor of 8. And I'm going to make it negative because these are both negative, and I'm going to pull a negative 8 out front, and that's going to leave 3k plus 2. If I divide negative 24k by negative 8 and negative 16 by negative 8, I get positive 2. What happens is now these two quantities are exactly the same. They act like the common factor. So I'm going to just substitute for a minute, and I'm going to say 5k squared times W plus negative 8 times W. If that were your problem, you would see this W as a common factor, and you would pull it out front and regroup the back. The quantity is just the same. I can pull out 3k plus 2 as a common factor. If I divide that out of this first term, I'm left with 5k squared. If I divide it out of the second term, I'm left with negative 8. And that is fully factored and pretty fun. Now let's go ahead and group this one. I know there's a common factor of 3 that runs throughout, and you could go ahead and take that out first, but let's just group first and see where we get. The first group has a common factor of 3x squared, and that leaves me x minus 1 when I take it out. Plus, the second set has a common factor of 6, and when I take that out, I have x minus 1. Here's my common factor, and here's my common factor. If I pull that out now, I'm left with 3x squared and plus 6. Now, this thing in the back, this 3x squared plus 6, has a common factor of 3 in it. So I need to go one more step, and I need to take that out. And so I have 3 times x squared plus 2 and the x minus 1 factor. And that is now fully factored. If I look at this last example, and I go ahead and group this way, 16r cubed minus 56r squared have a common factor of 8r squared. That leaves me 2r minus 7. plus 10r minus 35. That has a common factor of 5, which leaves me 2r minus 7. I now have a common factor here and here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull that out to 2r minus 7 times 8r squared plus 5, and that is fully factored. I'm going to tackle a few more mixed review problems and then call the lesson done. So here we go. 5x squared plus 40xy plus 80y squared has a common factor of 5. I'm going to pull that out, and that's going to leave me x squared plus 8xy plus 16y squared. No coefficient in the front there, so this is going to be a matter of figuring out what factors of 16 plus plus gives me plus plus. What factors of 16 when combined give me, when added, give me 8? Well, it's clear that 4 times 4, 4 plus 4 really, gives me 8. Check. 4xy and 4xy are 8xy. So my final factored version is 5 times x plus 4y times x plus 4